Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Is my audio clear? So, good afternoon, everyone. I am Jean Joseph Garcia from the Philippines, and my study is about the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic to financial management information systems and crisis management of organizations. So, the COVID-19 pandemic posed threats and challenges to the operations, financials, and economy of organizations worldwide. Hence, it is necessary to devise effective action plans to assist in mitigating losses that can be caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The use of financial systems, such as an FMIS, can support organizations in operating and handling their resources. An FMIS, according to the World Bank, supports financial management processes, which includes auditing, accounting, budget preparation and execution, planning, reporting, and others. The objective of the study is to generally review and determine the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic to organizations' economy and operations. Specifically, the study aims to identify the factors that impacts the financial management, performance, and operation of the organizations. Additionally, the study also aims to recognize crisis management plans that are implemented or seen to have the capability of handling the adverse impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. The study used a narrative literature review as the research methodology. The reviewed literature are journals, case studies, and articles from organizations and research databases such as ResearchGate, Science Direct, Sage Journals, Research Square, and others. A literature reviewed allow various global knowledge of the COVID-19 pandemic related to financial and crisis management to be reviewed and synthesized into new and additional knowledge which can be considered as contribution to the field. Studies have been conducted related to the COVID-19 pandemic's factors and its impacts. Koibion et al. Stated that the lockdown restrictions were affecting the business, not the COVID-19 virus. Ashraf stated then that the measures against the COVID-19 did control the spike of cases, which led to positive market return. However, this resulted to the disturbed economic activity. Similarly, Guan et al. Explained that the measures were made without considering its impact to the global supply chain. It was also found that extended lockdowns were economically preferred rather than to implement it multiple times in short periods. Carlson Ezlizak et al. Explained the three transmission channels of the pandemic's impact. The first channel is the direct impact. Measures against the COVID-19 pandemic, such as lockdown restrictions, which mandated everyone, including consumers, to stay at home. This has resulted to limited outdoor movements to only purchasing essential goods and services. Businesses have then experienced a decline in demand, not because consumer does not like their product, but because they aren't allowed to freely go outside. The second transmission channel is the indirect impact. To follow the government measures, work and HR policies were reformed or changed. However, some reforms resulted to the layoff of employees, shutdown temporarily, or the total shutdown of operations. Because of those policies, the rate of unemployment has been increasing during the COVID-19 pandemic. The absence of remuneration or salary caused house wealth to be decreasing. It then affected the buying power and capacities of consumers. With limited financial wealth, they will only need to allocate them to essential needs. Lastly, the supply side disruption caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic caused the cascading effect or unforeseen negative impacts on goods and services. For instance, is the production of goods and services decrease because there is a low to none demand. On the other hand, the supply chain disruption was also caused by the outage and shortage of materials. The International Labor Organization stated that the shutdown of manufacturing companies in China were part of the initial cause of the disruption. There were also studies that introduced crisis management plans that organizations have implemented during this pandemic. Rababa et al. Stated that businesses implemented crisis management plans to survive in the disrupted economy caused by the pandemic. Notably, Alves et al. Was able to introduce the resilience and survivability models that were seen in SMEs in Macau, China, that have assisted in thriving the operation of this pandemic. Figure 1 shows the survivability model introduced by Alves et al. It was stated that all firms were seen to have changed operational hours, either shortening or reducing hours, or stopping operation. The HR strategy is related to providing flexible policies so that employees would be able to adapt to the repercussions of the pandemic. For instance, is the timely communication of the levels of management to disseminate the information. The third construct is the product strategies, which focuses on management of products. It is necessary to reduce stocks because there is a low product demand. They have also explored for new products and markets to increase sales and revenues. The network, or simply the customer relations, is related to improving and maintaining relationship with existing or possibly new customers to avoid a further drop in sales. Lastly, the financial strategies, which focuses on eliminating irrelevant costs used by the business. It would also be beneficial to seek support from government bodies through loans. On the other hand, Figure 2 is the resilience model introduced by Alves et al. The first construct is also the customer relation, which included improving the business publicity and target customers through advertisements and promotions. Subsequently, the financial construct is mainly about cost cutting. The business should only focus on areas that are critical to those that could add value. The product construct is the strategy of improving the business market. Seek opportunity in other product market where higher sales and revenues can be acquired. On the other hand, the model included the hardware used in the business operation. It is significant to provide health and safety equipment to abide by the COVID-19 health protocol. Lastly, the dynamic learning construct, where businesses should and have invested in strengthening current or creating new crisis management strategies. The study also considered government fiscal policy reforms as crisis management. Park and Maher conducted the study about the COVID-19 response of the US and South Korean government. In South Korea, fiscal policies were reformed and focused on allocating resources to essential services, including the resources used in quarantine facilities. The fiscal policies also focused on financial support for businesses, such as loans. Because of the pandemic, income and revenue of businesses have decreased. Additionally, the pandemic increased the unemployment rate, which the South Korean government also supported the unemployed individuals through wage support. Similarly, the US government also reformed their fiscal policies to provide fiscal packages. Similarly, the fiscal packages focused on medical services, financial support, and handling the rate of unemployment. Additionally, they have provided medical support for individual households. On the other hand, another crisis management that can support the operation of organization is the proper financial management and use of financial systems, such as an FMIS. According to the World Bank, governments are formulating and implementing COVID-19 response, but they are susceptible to creating unpaid debts or arrears, which are difficult to monitor and track when not done under the supervision of PFM systems or FMIS. Notably, Shah and Waterfield stated that without financial management systems, such as FMIS and Uniform Chart of Accounts, it would be challenging to define the real-time availability and limitations of resources. Marignani explained that the capabilities of FMIS and other PFM systems in handling the challenges of the pandemic, which included the resource liquidation, where organizations add the resources and assets can be easily liquidated and allocated to COVID-19 response. Similarly, information systems can assist in proper cash disbursements, which can also handle the organization's accounting, reporting, and auditing functions. It was also stated that the FMIS can avoid the possibility of macroeconomic instability or the absence of economic balance within the organizations when policies, especially related to financials, are reformed. The study proposed a model of the COVID-19 impact based from the reviewed literature. The first construct is the financial constraints, brought by the decreased income and revenue caused by the decline of product demand. Subsequently, due to financial constraints, there should also be changes in the operations. The organization should be able to operate with the current available resources. The third construct is related to changes within the organizational culture. Financial, operational, and management changes and reforms will continually be developed and implemented to cope up with the pandemic. Thus, this will impact on the way employees use the functions. Lastly, the post-pandemic impact. Even after the end of the COVID-19 pandemic, organizations will still feel and experience the remnants of the pandemic. Hence, it shows the significance of crisis management to assist in the recovery of organizations. The study also proposed a crisis management model that can assist in surviving and recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic. The first construct is related to financials of organizations. The presence of proper financial management can assist in the proper allocation, use, and expenditure of limited resources. The activity of cutting costs is crucial to eliminate unnecessary spending. Moreover, the use and integration of information technology can significantly assist in the management of resources such as financial systems and FMIS. Financial technological solution can improve the control and monitoring activities of resources.
Okay, you have
The
2 minutes more. Yeah.
The third construct is the operational changes, which is the reforming of HR policies. The fourth construct is the network or customer relations. Because of the low consumers' demand, it would be critical to handle the current customers of the organizations. Lastly is the government support. However, not all governing bodies implement support for businesses, especially small businesses. In conclusion, based on the reviewed literature, the underlying factors of the COVID-19 pandemic are responsible for the impacts and challenges brought to the global and local economy. Because of that, businesses are required to adapt to the hostile environment of the economy to survive and thrive in the pandemic. On the other hand, it was found that the major cause of the challenged operational and financial performance of businesses is the decreasing product demand for. On the other hand, to combat challenges, improving financial management can sustain the business operation during this pandemic. Specifically using financial systems, it can effectively assist in resource management. It also helps in achieving fiscal balance or the balance between revenues and expenditures. Notably, the COVID-19 pandemic can create learnings that can be applied to future threats to business operation, financials, and management. Furthermore, COVID-19 models can be applied to support the COVID-19. And that ends the presentation. Thank you for listening.
Okay. Muchas gracias, Jean.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Sawalan, please give some details, some of your opinion, please.
Yeah. What I concern is that in practical, how financial management information system can be used for different kind of organizations which are vulnerable to COVID-19, because different organizations have different capacity of information technology, right? Like a small SME firm, they may not be able to apply financial information system for their management. It may be different from like a big firm. So in terms of using FMIS for crisis management, it may vary by different kind of firm and organization, how practical SME can be utilized it, and especially for the case of the Philippines that you may know. So these are things that I think it may be good if you can explore further or you can explain more. Or you may like to share some idea with us, with the floor.
About the financial management in the Philippines of
Yeah.
SM.
Yeah, I think you focus in that in your topic, right? About the crisis management, especially on FMIS, as I see. And I think in practical, different kind of organization, different groups have different capacity for applying using the technology. Although it's useful in principle, but I think it's gonna be good if you can review more or you have more observation or data to categorize different kind of utilize it in different kind of firm like SME, big firm or multinational firm or government and private sector, something like that. Yeah,
Yes, I think that really some SMEs, especially those that struggle with financial resources, would really not have the budget allocation to implement financial systems. So maybe they would rather implement it. They would rather allocate it to use to support their operations.
yeah.
However, I do think that investment in technology, especially now in the 21st century, is critical as improvement of the business.
Yeah. So that's I think that maybe some limitation in applying in different kind of in different level in using this kind of crisis management. Okay, I think I should open for the floor who like to give some question or suggestion or comments. Before is open, please.
Any question for Jean Joseph? Any question for him? Please. Yeah, please. Okay, maybe no one would like to ask Jean Joseph, and thank you so much, Jean Joseph. Thank you very much. And yes, okay.